Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Shamira. If you are new here, in today's video I'm going to be doing a medical coding Q&A, and I'm going to be sharing some of the fears I had when I started out, because you guys all know, or some of you know, that I did not go to school. I didn't do any extended courses. I pretty much practice how to pass the exam, and I passed the exam and then went into my medical coding job with the employer that I already had. So of course, somebody that takes my route will definitely be terrified. So we are going to be going over some of the things that I had to overcome and sharing a little bit of what I went through, and I hope that it's going to be helpful for you. Somebody had commented on one of my videos that I've done in the past, and they asked me these questions. So I don't want to put her name out there. Her name starts with a P. So if you know, then yes, I am answering your questions in a video because I feel like your questions could help someone else. So thank you for leaving them on a video. How did I feel being a new coder with little knowledge? I felt terrified, and I have notes here because if I don't write this stuff down, I will be on here and feel like Princess Diaries.
What's my point again?
You like our uniforms. They're equalizers.
What a frisball. Look at her hair. See, casual.
She was trying to give a speech and couldn't give it, and she ran out. So I have to read off my notes here. So I felt terrified, but I was ambitious. I knew that I could do this, and this may be something I've never done before, but I know that there has been somebody else in my position before, and I'm sure they're doing so well. Like, look at me. I am that person. You guys know that I've been in your situation. If you guys didn't take any courses, you did this on your own, there is somebody else out there that has done it and is exceeding at it, okay? So do not let the fear stop you from taking that leap of faith, okay? We sometimes make ourselves feel like we're the only one going through this. There's nobody else out there that can relate, when that's not true. There are other people that have been a medical coder with no experience, so it's okay. When I first started out, I was an E&M coder, which E&M stands for Evaluation and Management. I was a hospitalist coder, so I coded for the physician billing, because when you hear hospitalist, you probably think like, okay, is that hospital billing? No. Hospital billing is separate from physician billing. So I am doing all the coding for the doctor. The hospital then has other people that do the coding and stuff like that for the hospital services. So for me, I was a hospitalist coder, and I was coding for the doctors that were on the hospitalist team, or in the hospitalist specialty, which is actually internal medicine. But anyway, those codes would have been inpatient codes, observation codes, ER codes, outpatient, consults, all those, okay? So we didn't do any type of procedures, surgeries, nothing. It is strictly E&M, and that is the section in the very beginning of your CPT book. So your 99221s, your 99222s, 232s, 255s, 9928, 2s through 285s, all those codes. The 99 codes are actually in the front and not in the back of the book. So yeah, that is what I coded. And then I have here, when I started out, I did get on the job training. So they were training me on how to, code the charts that we were getting. And that's pretty much it. They were just training me on how to do my job. They weren't training me or giving me the education on what E&M was. So I felt like I had to then do something for myself, and I went back on AAPC, and I found that they had like this short evaluation and management course where you get like a little certificate at the end, and I feel like that was helpful because I had no other knowledge about evaluation and management. And then from there, I just continued to do my job, and I got better. I can't remember during that on-the-job training process how many I got right versus how many I got wrong, because it is like a 90-day probationary period, and I think all I had to do like my first week was to like code one note each day and see how I did. So it wasn't like something where I'm thrown in and I have like 100 charts that I need to do on my first day. No, absolutely not. That's not what I had to go through. It was a slow process, and I slowly had to work up to I'm not sure if it was like 17 per hour or what. I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, it was like a slow pace to get to where you needed to be, and that's what I did. So let me see, where did I just stop? Okay, so when I was during the training process and I would get something wrong, I'm pretty sure I would probably tell them, okay, well, this was my interpretation of what this is and why I gave it this level, and then you can compare it to the coworker that is helping you, and you can get their interpretation of what they see in the operative, in the not operative note, but into the chart. Okay, the whatever it was, a hospital note, or yeah. When I would get something wrong, I know I would share with my coworker that was working with me, and I would tell them, okay, well, this was my interpretation of the chart that I reviewed, and this is why I gave it this level. And then they would share with me their interpretation, and then we usually would have like audit tools, the evaluation and management audit tool. So you had to like level out your E&Ms, and then we would compare, and I would take the information they gave me and I would say, oh, okay, yeah, I see where you got that from, so now I know. But what I would also do on my own, I didn't actually do this when I was in E&M. I started doing this when I became a surgical coder, but it is perfect for anybody that's starting out in coding, period. Have yourself a Excel spreadsheet, and what I would do is I would have the medical record number, and I would also have the CPT code that I thought it should have been, and then the CPT code that it was actually changed to. I would write down in like another column my thought process, and then I would also add in the feedback that I got from my coworker on why it was this code. So that way, in case I ever see something like that before, or if I ever see something like that again, I will be able to reference this Excel spreadsheet, and I can just type in the code that I'm thinking it is, and then I can go back and see, okay, well, I remember she said this, so this is why I need to pick this code instead of this code, if that makes sense. I still look at my spreadsheet to this day of like surgeries that I see, and that has helped me a lot, okay? Because I know as a coder, you're getting so many charts every single day, and sometimes it's hard to remember, like, oh my gosh, I know I had one that was just like this before. Well, if you had that Excel spreadsheet, you can just go back and reference it. So that was helpful when I became a surgical coder. But if you're an E&M coder and that's all you're going to be doing, and you just want something to help you along the way, definitely try that, because you can do that whether you're E&M or surgical. It doesn't matter. You just want to have that information that is given to you, and then you can reference it back. So definitely try that. All right, so moving on to my next question. I only had 3. So my next one is, if you made mistakes, how did your employer take it? So this is probably like after you already went through the 90-day period. You've been coding for, let's say, a few months now, maybe over a year now. And for us, we are audited. I'm not sure how frequently we're audited, but we have to have a 90% or higher accuracy. And what our auditors do is they will either pull 5 or 10 charts that we've coded. I can't remember how many they pull, but you have to get 90% or higher. And if you don't, then I believe they have you on like a 30-day probationary period, and they pretty much do another audit on you. So I haven't had any problems meeting like the productivity standards, because sometimes they also have productivity and then they have accuracy. So our productivity standards is 20 charts per hour. But then when you're being audited, you need to get 90% or higher. So I'm just going to stick with the accuracy portion. I'm not going to stick with the charts per hour, because the charts per hour is different for every coder, and it depends on what you're coding. So let's say you didn't get a 90, or I didn't get a 90% accuracy. So what is going to happen then? I believe you are put on like a 30-day probationary period, and they just do another audit on you to see if you are meeting the 90% accuracy. For me personally, I wouldn't think, oh my gosh, I'm about to be terminated, because of the relationship that I have with like management, I don't feel like immediately you need to think like you're about to be terminated. That's just not something that would be in the back of my mind, because I know how long I've been with this company. So I'm not going to just assume or put that fear in my head. I made a mistake. That's what it is. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to learn from it and move on from it. I'm not going to, because I would do stuff like this, especially when I first started out. Like if I got something wrong, or if I, I've never failed an audit. So I can't say like, oh my gosh, I was scared before from an audit, because I've always passed them. But I just feel like when I started out in coding, it was intimidating, and I would have a lot more fear of like losing my job, because I'm new. I just started this. I don't have the experience. So it's normal to feel that. But now that I'm how many years from 2016 to 2024, now that I have all this knowledge, it's like the fear of being terminated isn't there anymore. I know my worth, and I know that if my employer doesn't see the value in me, that somebody else will. Plus, if your management sees that you are trying, let's say you fail the second audit, me personally, I don't know how a team or like upper management could fire somebody, especially if they see that you are overwhelmed or you're stressed out about this. Like the company or the employer that I work for, they are understanding. They aren't just gonna throw you to the wayside like you're nothing. So it's just hard for me, because I'm pretty sure there are employers out there that are maybe a bit more cutthroat. I don't know, but I just don't have that. So I don't see how people could be that way. And I know some people feel like jobs don't care about you. You can be easily replaced and forgotten about. Yes, I know there are companies out there like that. I don't think that way. And I don't know if that's wrong of me to think so, to be so optimistic. Is that the right word? But that's just how I've grown throughout my coding career. I mean, if I didn't, and I still was feeling the feelings of that 22-year-old that started out, oh my gosh, I would be terrified still. But I can't live like that. And I don't put that negativity in my mind. I will take it one day at a time. We're not doing heart surgery. Medical coders aren't putting people's lives at risk. If you make a mistake, just learn from it and move on. Don't stress over it. When you clock out. Don't keep thinking of it, because I know when I was younger, and I know there was like medical coding jobs that I would apply to within my company, and I wanted to go from a coder 1 to a coder 2, and I was, turned down from them. I remember I went home, driving home, and I was crying and I was upset, and I was thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm just not going to be able to move up. But guess what? God had something better in store for me, and it has been like the best decision that I've made. I absolutely love being an OBGYN coder. So I'm grateful for the no's now, but in that moment I was upset. Not even going to sugarcoat it. I was upset, and because I wanted it and I knew I worked so hard for it, but God said, not that one. I got something better. So yeah. And then let's say my next one is, it's not really a question, but what if you are terminated? Okay. What if you do get terminated because of this audit, right? Don't let that break you. Okay. You made a mistake. You're going to take the lesson and you're going to move on from it. The knowledge that you have, the experience that you have, the certifications that you've worked for, that all comes with you. They are not going to take that from you. If they don't see the value that you have, somebody else will. So if medical coding is something that you love, there are plenty of opportunities out there for you. Even ones where you can work remote and they may send you the equipment. You may have to go into the office with this new role for a short period of time and then be able to be in the remote job. If you have to go to a new job, just be honest. This previous employer I was with, this is what happened. I was with a specialty that was just a struggle for me, okay? Let's imagine if you had, I don't know, cardiovascular or something like that. That's just not something that I'm familiar with, and I just struggle with that so much. But now this job that I'm applying to is something that I really am passionate about. I love to learn about it, and I'm really excited for this new chapter in my life, etc., etc., etc. Just be honest, and hopefully they see the desire you have for this position that they have that is available. And then my last point is communication is key with your current employer and with a new employer. You don't have to give these people your entire life story, but let them know that you can do this. This is an obstacle that you know you can overcome. But remember that no job is guaranteed. That is why it is so important for us all to have some type of emergency fund or like 1 to 3 months of expenses saved up, because when you are hit with something like a termination, it can be very hard to take, and now you have to figure out what you're going to do next. Having a cushion or funds available to help you along this new transition to what you're about to go into is going to be so important. You don't want to feel like, oh my gosh, I just lost the job that I loved so much, and now I don't know how I'm going to be able to pay my rent, how I'm going to be able to pay my mortgage, how am I going to be able to pay my car payment. So I hope that my budgeting videos are also helpful for you guys and informative, and you guys are enjoying those in addition to the medical coding videos as well. I know you guys love all the videos that I do, and I'm so grateful. Like, you guys are amazing too. Like, I am able to share the knowledge that I have with you all, and I know you guys love it. So I want to say thank you for showing up and watching my videos, commenting on my videos, because you guys are an inspiration as well. So thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye, guys.